Hey, this is your girl, IkwerreGirl Acheru, all the way from Talk to Dot. What's happening, people? It has been, 4 months of lockdown. I don't know how many weeks it is. I have actually got tired of counting. But we're here, we're alive, and we've come to the end of June. So something to be thankful for. I haven't been doing some lives. I haven't done lives in a bit because I've just been catching up on other stuff, trying to rebrand my channel, trying to put things, refocus, repurpose myself, and obviously rest. But I'm back, I'm here, and I just thought, give a bit of a shout out to people. Right, what we're here to talk about. We're going to talk about signs that you cannot afford to ignore. I know I sound like a broken record and I just go on and on and on about the same thing. However, it's good to keep saying it so that somehow you might hear it, you might be able to tell it to someone, or you might be able to apply it into your life. So, like I said, I'm coming to you. My channel is Talk to Dot. There's loads of resources on YouTube. You can check out my channel. The link is at the bottom, at the top of the title. YouTube, just look for Talk to Dot. Talk number 2 dot. And there's lots of resources there for any topic you want to find out about: domestic abuse, domestic violence, narcissism. And if you don't find something there that is directly pertaining to the sort of abuse that you're receiving, please send me a message. Send me a message about what you're going through, and I will create something to spread the light. Right, so signs you cannot, you can't afford to, to ignore. First of all, if you are in the stream, I need you to give me a thumbs up so I know you're there and I can say hello. And please put your questions in the comment box so that I know, if you have any questions, just put your comments there. Right. A lot of people do not understand what red flags are. They don't know what red flags are, and I don't blame them because they don't know what it is. It's not your fault if you don't know, but the truth is you need to educate yourself about red flags so that you see these signs. When you see these signs, when you encounter these signs, you don't not know what it is and enter into a relationship, because the truth is you are better off not making a mistake and falling in love with someone who is a potential abusive person than when you make the mistake and you're in that abusive relationship and you're trying to wake up, because it's like a spell. When you get in there, it's so difficult to wake up out of it, and then you start thinking about, oh, how can I end this? How can I end this relationship? How about the kids? Can he change? Can she change? All of these things start to come out, which becomes a problem to you. So I'd rather you know the signs so you don't get yourself into it than you don't know at all. However, if you are already in an abusive relationship, then obviously you need to listen to the signs as well and realize that people that fall into this category of people, they don't change. One of the things that has made me come live today is because there's been this massive story on the internet where this guy has brutally murdered his fiancée. He's tied her up, he's pulled out her hair, he's stabbed all over her body, and she died, and then he killed himself. When I see stories like that, there's something inside of me that just triggers, because I'm thinking, yeah, people might say, oh yeah, because something triggered him and something triggered him and stuff like that. The truth is, normal people, no matter how much you trigger them, they don't act in that way. Once I saw it, I saw mental health. I saw someone who had a pattern of abuse. I might be wrong, but this story to some people might be strange, like, oh my goodness, why is it like this? But to me, it's something I see on a daily basis. It's a pattern you see in certain kinds of people, and I've always talked about this for a year now. I think it's going a year now. I've talked about the same thing. You need to know these signs. So for instance, number one, you meet someone who is, okay, first of all, let me back up. Now, abusive people or potentially abusive people, they're not animals, they're not horrible people, they are master charmers. Trust me, they are the best of the best of the best. And that's why it's so easy for you to fall in love with them or fall for whatever tricks they have up their sleeves, because they are really charming. They're really intelligent, they're really smart, they know how to get into your emotions, they know how to pretend to connect to their emotions, they know how to show you and make you feel loved. But you need to understand that this is an act to get you trapped into a relationship. Once you get trapped in that relationship, that's it, the abuse starts. It starts. And you spend your life trying to think, okay, what happened? Why did this person change? No, they never changed. They were never the person you thought they were. So, the signs, if you come into the stream, give us a thumbs up so I know you're there. And let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. So I'm just yap, and no one can hear what I'm saying. So if you come into the stream, yeah, give us a thumbs up. Yeah. So a big hello, hello. Yes. So one thing you have to look out for potentially abusive people and people who will potentially kill you at some point is they will come on to you. They will say things like, within the first couple of weeks when you meet them, they will declare their undying love to you. They will say things like, they will tell you they love you. They love with you. I've never met anybody like you before in my life. You're unreal. How? You're like you're the best person in my life. You're the one that makes me complete. Like nobody understands me. You're the only one that understands me. They make themselves sound like there's something special. Trust me, there's nothing special about them. It's just an act. They make it sound like there's something special. It's either they've got this high spiritual gift or high intellectual capacity or something. They're special people, and then you coming into their life, you are a special person to understand them. Now you begin to feel special yourself because, wow, this person is so special. They're so intelligent. They're so wise. They're so spiritually gifted. They're so skilled in life. But you are the only person that understands them. See, when you hear these kind of things, right? Look out. That's number one. Number two, the relationship has to go really quickly. They want to move in with you. They want to get pregnant, or they want to be pregnant for you. They want to begin to have some kind of joint venture so that you're trapped in it, because they need to secure you. They need to lock you down. When you find someone that tells you all those sweet things at a very short instance of knowing you, and then they're pushing for an engagement, they're pushing for marriage, they're pushing for all of this commitment, you need to take a step back. You understand? Now, obviously, there's your gut feeling that's telling you, something's not right. There is something not right. You need to trust that feeling. But sometimes, because you're in love or you're going with the flow, you might not be able to feel that something's not right thing. But when you see someone moving so quickly, yeah, it's something to look out for. The other thing about them is that they will become so possessive of you, like they own you. Now, it might come across like love, like this person is so particular, they just love me so much, they like to know what I'm doing, they like to call me all the time. That is a way of trying to control you. The fact that they want to talk to you all the time, they want to know where you are, or what have you eaten? Are you awake now? Can I talk to you now? Can we hang out now? They want to spend all their time with you. That is another sign that something is not right. You get me? Now, in the event that someone wants to spend all the time with you and you say, no, I'm a bit busy now, and they get really upset, they get really emotional, they go into stuff like, oh, you don't love me anymore, I think you've seen someone else. Who's that person that's so important? You know, a normal person, if you told them, I'm a bit busy now, right, they will understand. They'll just say, okay, fine, you know, I'll catch up with you later, or, you know, I really wanted to hang out with you, but it's fine, we'll see you later, I'm sure you have things to do, and it's fine. But with these people, they can't do that. They can't. So that's how you know. They might get aggressive, not like aggressive physical, but in the things they say, they might get like emotional. They might like, you don't love me anymore, I think you found somebody else, you know. When you see these things, yeah, begin to take a step back gradually and take off. There is another very interesting one about them. So, in terms of boundaries, right, they don't respect boundaries. You as an individual, to be able to see that a person doesn't respect boundaries, you have to have boundaries yourself. Because if you don't have boundaries, how do you know that someone is encroaching into your boundaries? So I'll give you an example. A lot of times, when people think about abusive people, you think about someone that is so forceful and all that. Sometimes they can come to you in a subtle way. Remember, it's the honeymoon stage. They're trying to win you over. So they cannot be like, oh, like that. They have to look for a way. So I'll give you an example of someone breaking boundaries. For instance, you have an exam, or you have an interview, or you have something you're preparing for, and you said to them, I've got this thing I'm planning to do, I've got this exam I'm studying for, I've got this interview, I just need time to do this stuff, or I just need some alone time or something. You know what? They know you got an interview, they know you got an exam, they turn up on the day you said you needed space to do that. They came with a big fat cake, they came with a big fat flower, they came with presents, and they came with these tickets to a dinner. Like, I've got tickets, let's go see a movie, let's go for dinner. Do you understand? Now, while that sounds like an honest, genuine thing, like, oh my goodness, he's so sweet, he brought me flowers, he did that. No, remember you said you wanted some time to yourself so that you could study for your exam, so that you could rest. You just wanted time to yourself. Now, they didn't come across to you like, what do you mean you want time to yourself? Some of them are like that. What do you mean you want time to yourself? I'm coming anyway. No. Because they're still trying to win you over, they will look for a way to come to you. Now, if you don't have boundaries, you might say, oh, all right, you know what, let's just do this. Or they might just call you. You know, you said don't come, so they might not come. They might just call you. They might call you and stay on the phone forever. So for instance now, you know, I need to get up at 5 a.m. every day, Monday to Friday, to go to work. That's in the life when we actually left our houses and went to work, you know, not like now. So you need to go to work and you need to wake up at 5 a.m. This person keeps you on the phone from 9 o'clock in the evening when they call, and they keep you on the phone until 3 a.m. in the morning every day. Now, because you don't have boundaries yourself, you don't know how to tell them, I need to get off the phone, because they sound so sweet and so caring, and they seem to come up with one gist after the other, one thing that you guys have to work out together, and before you know, time is going. The next day you say that, oh my goodness, I was really tired, I didn't get enough sleep, you know, I'm dozing off in the office, today I want to go to bed early. They call you again, oh, it's just this thing I want to talk about, I just miss you so much, I just love you so much. You understand? Why you see that as someone who's being caring? This is someone that obviously is not respecting your boundaries. Now, if you don't have boundaries and you don't understand this thing, you might think it's nothing, but this is how they test you at the beginning stages. Now, if at some point you met someone like that and you said, do you know what, it's 10 o'clock and I always go to bed by 10, I would love to spend all day speaking with you, but I need to get off the phone, and they try to go on and you're like, you listen, we'll do this tomorrow, and you put the phone down, two things will happen. It's either they get a little bit aggressive and like, or they go into emotional blackmail and all that stuff, or they get a bit aggressive and say, oh, how dare you not talk to me and stuff like that, or they're like, oh my goodness, you don't love me anymore, who's that person? And they send you text after text after text after text. If you maintain your boundaries and say, you know what, it's time for my bed, I put the phone down, I'm not answering any more messages. If you do that over a period of time, you know what, the relationship is going to end. Because they're testing you with these things. They want someone who doesn't have boundaries, or they want someone who doesn't respect their own boundaries. So you have a boundary, but you keep moving it to accommodate people. They want to find that person who wants to save the world. That person who just doesn't want to save the world, but will, you know, will put themselves out there, will inconvenience themselves to save the world. Which is why they push your boundaries, because they want to find out, are you that person? And once they find out that you're that person, that's it. But then if you put your boundaries down, they will look for another way to test you. When they test you with all of these methods not working, they will probably walk away from the relationship. But if they don't and they're persistent, because sometimes they just don't stop, you need to know the signs so that you know that, okay, fine, this person fits into the category and I'm not letting it happen. The other thing they do is that they create an unrealistic pedestal. Some people call it the narcissist pedestal. What is it? It's just a place where they over magnify who you are. Now, if you're a person who doesn't know your self-worth, or there's a part of you that is broken, it might work. Because a normal person, lack of words to describe it, a regular person, not normal, a regular person will feel uncomfortable with over praises. You understand? A person who is a little bit broken but do not even know, some people don't know they're broken, they don't know that there's a dent, they don't know there's a gap. They need the assurance, they need it in a subtle way. So when this person comes and says, you are everything, you are so smart, oh my goodness, let's say it's a man and a woman. I've never seen any woman that's so smart. I've never found any woman I've never heard of any woman this resourceful. In fact, are you even human? My goodness, you're so intelligent. Look at all the things you do. You got so much talents. You have this. My goodness, you are beautiful. There is no one like you. When these things keep going on and on and on, remember, anyone who builds a pedestal, one day that pedestal is going to come down and you come crashing on the floor. Besides, if we all go up on the pedestal, who's going to be on ground zero? You get me? There's no need for a pedestal. Just treat people like they're normal human beings. The reason why someone wants to over gratify and over glorify you is because they want to get you roped in. Besides, they're testing your reaction to these things. If you find it very uncomfortable, you're like, no, you need to stop this. It's too much. It's too much. The fact that you don't respect boundaries, the fact that you always want to be around me, you want to control things, these are signs that you can't overlook. Now, people who have no control over emotions are people who have a damaged past, damaged childhood trauma. Even though, if you know me, I don't make excuses for bad behavior. You got bad behavior, you got bad behavior. You understand? I know there's loads of names for it, but let's just stick with the names for today. So someone with a broken past, either childhood trauma or something happened, and over the years, teenage years, things have kept happening that have really, in fact, they've become unstable. People don't notice it, but how do you see it? They get aggressive for no reason. So let's say someone upset them, they could just burst out in fury over someone upsetting them as opposed to having a dialogue. Sometimes they just burst out in tears, they just have so much rage, like there's an animal inside that needs to be unleashed. It may not come to physical violence, but there's just this rage about them. But at the same time, they're so soft and so sweet. So they can go from very angry to very sad and very sobby and all that stuff. Do you know that person that has said, I'm frustrated, I'm just going to kill myself? Or you know what, you don't love me anymore, you don't take my phone calls anymore, I'm just going to kill myself. If I don't have you, I can't leave. Do you know that person that says stuff like, without you, my life is over? It might sound sweet, but remember, you're putting this among some other things. Now, when you see these things and you hear these things, there's nothing sweet about it. First of all, a person who says they will kill themselves, right? They will kill you. And that's just the truth. If you check all the stories here that I've read, both the ones that Hollywood and Nollywood and Bollywood made, and magazines have carried, and all that stuff, novels, if you read every single story, Criminal Minds, whatever, if you read it, it's the same thing. People that end up killing their lovers, right? Killing their lovers. They're people that from beginning, when they were young, they've always showed signs of suicidal or oversensitive about their lover. You understand? They're over controlling, they just want to be with the person all the time. When they don't have access to the person, they get very anxious, very agitated. Like, what's going on? Where are you? Why can't I see you? I'm gonna die if I don't see you. I'm gonna die if I can't see you. I can't cope. Sometimes they even lose weight because you don't want to talk to them. They lose weight. They starve themselves. See, these things are not normal. There's nothing lovely about that. When you see these things, you want to be running. Yeah? The person is coming this way, run that way. They're coming this way, run that way. They come from up, go down. They come from down, go up. Just take off, literally. There's nothing normal. It's not your job to try and fix a person. You're not God. It's not your job to fix a person, and besides, you can't fix people. That's just the truth. Spend time, the time and energy you will spend fixing a person, spend that time fixing yourself. Besides, it's different when you have a friend, right, that you're not emotionally connected to, you're not romantically connected to, that you feel like, I want to help my friend. Even at that, it could be actually detrimental to you when you decide that you have this friend, platonic friend that you want to save. It could be detrimental to yourself, right? If it was an external person, a colleague or someone that's not directly, that you can always detach yourself from, fine, I can understand why you want to spend time with them. But if it's someone that you're emotionally attached to, trust me, it is a difficult thing and you can't do it. You don't want to be that. Why would you want to take a burden like that? You're not the person's father or mother. They're not your child, so it's not your job to do that. Why go for someone that is like that is hazardous, when there's so many people out there? Or when you can just enjoy your life happy. You understand? You see people that are up, down, you can't understand them. Today, they're lovely to the world. Tomorrow, they just shut down everybody. They just shut down their family. They shut down their friends. Nah. Do you have people around you, that one guy or that one girl you met, that has this dark secret about their past? They have this thing that they can't talk about. They just don't want to talk about their family. Oh no, my family, they're just the way my family are. They're not good people. Oh, my friends, you don't need to meet my friends. They're terrible people. They're all fraudsters. I don't want to meet them. You see, these things are not right. Why would a person want to isolate themselves from everybody else? Why do they keep, these people that keep having issues, so they move from town to town, they keep relocating from one place to the other, they keep changing. The last house they stayed in, they had an issue with the landlord. The other house they stayed in, they had an issue with the landlord, they had an issue with the neighbors. The last job they had, they got fired or they quarreled, and they just don't have good stories about the people around them. They may not have been fired, they may not have been kicked out or evicted, but when they tell stories, listen to their stories. Oh, my boss is just an idiot. I can't stand these people. You see, they don't like me in the office. Nobody likes me in the office. Even my neighbor, my landlord is weird. There's a way my landlord behaves. You see, these kind of people, right? The whole world cannot be bad, and they're the only good people. Don't get yourself sucked into these stories. These are just things that they do to rope you in. Now, the other one I'm going to say, for those Christians and church people out there, and that one's going to be a video of its own on YouTube at some point when I come around to do that. There's this thing about Christianity, right? And some religions, but I have to talk about Christianity because I don't know about Islam and the rest of them, and Buddhism and the rest of them. Religion, Christianity fosters a lot of abusive relationships. Why? Because in church, once people get to the age of marriage, they just encourage them to just go and marry. They don't date. They don't know each other. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying dating means that you must do everything you need to do. I'm just saying that people in church tend to marry people they don't know. And this is a problem. Narcissists and abusive people are master manipulators. And the church, sorry to say, if you're a religious person, but sometimes the truth is bitter. After all, Jesus came down and he was like, I'm going to destroy everything. If the church was really good, why would he do that? Anyways, deviating. Right. These people are master manipulators. They know how to mirror things. They know how to mirror you. Now, when they watch you, they're actually mirroring you. They're mirroring what you need, your likes. That's why you find it like those relationships where before you say something, the person is literally completing the sentence. You'll be like, oh, how did you know that's what I was going to say? How did you know that was my desire? How did you know this is what I wanted to do? See, these things, yeah, you have to look out for it. And because the church doesn't give you enough time to actually know a person, you find yourself in a mess. These people are not Christians, you understand? They're not like you. Why you went to church to pray and all this stuff? These people are not Christians. They just hang out in church because they are master manipulators. In fact, they deserve awards in Hollywood because they're good actors. They copy the way people behave, which is why you see them. They'll be the first person to come to church. They'll be the last person to leave. They'll pray, they'll fast, they'll do everything. They'll join the choir, they'll do all this. Before you know, they're pastor's boy or they're pastor's girl because they know how to copy it. What they're doing is trying to create a credible, credibility around themselves. They've come into a place, they've mastered how it works, and before you know, you get roped in. Now you see someone who is a dedicated Christian is this, and you get into a relationship because the church gives you 6 months, maximum 6 months to get married. You don't know the person. You meet the person and you're already planning to get married because the Lord said. You understand? Even the Lord says test. Test every spirit. You can't be testing it by just, faith without works is dead. Right, as I was saying, you get into a relationship. I've heard so many stories, so countless stories of where people find themselves in a relationship and they begin to ask themselves after marriage, did I really marry a Christian? You see, the reason why you're asking that question, the person did not change. There was nothing about you that made that woman change. There was nothing about you that made that man change. They were never who they said they were. But you didn't see it because you didn't have enough time to process it. You didn't have enough time to process it. Which is why come on, I've seen stories, I've seen stories where people get married and the so-called pastor, the so-called prayer leader, has like some voodoo dolls and juju stuff that they do, makes incantations. You see what I mean? I've seen situations where the so-called Christian, just after marriage, is reading some spiritual books and spiritual things and occultic stuff, and they have chains and shells and stuff in their house. And you're thinking, oh my goodness, how can you be a Christian and be that person? The truth is, they were never Christians. Because of the way things work in church, you don't have enough time. You don't have enough time. Now, saying that, I'm not saying that people don't find abusive partners out there in the world when they have time to date, but it's the same pattern. Even out there in the world, you find that people who found themselves in an abusive relationship, the relationship moved quickly. So all I'm saying that the church already fosters or supports the notion that relationships should not be longer than a period of time because they want to save you from falling into sin. The truth is, the person who will sin will sin. So the church has actually created, what they call it now? The church has created a nice process for narcissists and abusive people to function. Remember that out there in the world, when they meet someone, they want to marry the person, get the person pregnant, or be pregnant for the person within 3 to 6 months. They can't pretend for anything. Maximum 6 months. They can't. In 6 months, 6 months of just knowing them, they've started showing you who they are. So they need to make it solid by 6 months maximum. Now, when church has a method of saying 6 months maximum, you're married, it's the perfect place. It is the perfect place. And the church is even so perfect because out there in the world, you could be having issues. Because it's the world, people will just be like, what are you doing there? Get out of that relationship, and that's it. People will encourage you to end it. But in the church, oh my goodness, the Lord hates divorce. You just have to stay there and pray. So it is a good place. It is the perfect breeding ground for abusive relationships, because when you find yourself with an abusive woman or an abusive man, you go tell the pastor or the prayer warriors about your problem. They're going to tell you to pray. While you're praying, the abuse is carrying on. These people cannot change. You know why they can't change? Because they don't want to change. They do not want to change. If someone does something and says they're sorry, if someone does the same thing again and says they're sorry, they keep doing it. It's a cycle. They keep doing it. Every time they say sorry, they get worse. Every time they say sorry, they get worse. At some point, after the third, fourth, fifth time, you need to take a step back and tell yourself, this is not a mistake. This is not an accident. This is the person's behavior. And they have absolutely no intentions of changing. So, without going through all of the process for lack of time, you check out my YouTube channel, Talk number 2 dot. The link is there somewhere at the top. Check out my channel. There's lots of stuff around this stuff. In-depth knowledge about it so that you don't make the mistake. And if you are in an abusive relationship, please know that it's not your fault and you're not alone. There's loads of people it's happening to. Seriously, abuse in America happens every 9 seconds. So you can imagine. Count to 9 and someone is being abused. Count to 20 and someone was sexually assaulted in a relationship. Not out there, in a relationship. So it's very common. So talk about what you're going through, okay? Don't stay on your own. Talk to someone. And then if some of these things I've said, you're in a relationship that you see these things, you need to start considering what you're going to do. Especially if you are in a relationship where someone cries for no reason. When I say no reason, they get a bit upset or they think you're leaving and they start crying. These are not normal behaviors for men. I know women are emotional. I'm talking about the men now. They cry. They rage, they cry, they sob. You know, there's all these things. Even you're very uneasy. You have elements of fear. Even though you might not know that's fear, you have elements of fear in you. The reason why I say you have elements of fear is because if someone says, I don't want you leaving the house, why don't you leave? It's not because you love them and you want to respect. It's because you're afraid of what might happen if you leave. If someone says, I don't want you talking to this person, or I don't want you going back to school, or I don't want you going in work, or I don't want you to have a child. The reason why you comply to these things is not because you love them. It's because you're afraid of what they will do. You know, there's something about abusive people. They put fear in you. It's not always about them hitting you. There's something about them that puts fear in you. And over a period of time, you comply because you're afraid. If you're living in such a relationship, right, it doesn't end well. It never does. The day you stand up and say, right, I'm not doing this again. If you are in a relationship where they've never hit you, trust me, potentially you will get hit. If you're in a relationship with someone who doesn't have it in them to hit you, if they feel like they've been losing control, especially they cry, they cry baby once, they're going to kill you. Because the good example for church people, a narcissist, an abusive person is like the devil. They have one mission: to kill, to steal, and to destroy. Now, I'll reverse it for the narcissist. Kill, steal, destroy. So the narcissist is the opposite here. They destroy you, they kill you. When I say kill, not physical. Kill, steal, destroy. They destroy you, they steal from you, they steal your morals, they steal your friends, they steal your knowledge, they steal your essence, they steal everything about you, your emotion. Kill, steal, destroy, yeah? Destroy, steal, and kill. The final one that a narcissist does is to kill you. And it happens because the idea of the devil, the idea of the narcissist and the abuser is the same thing. They just reverse methods. Is that if they can't have you, no one else. And when they say they want to have you, it's not because they want to have you, because they want to have you like normal relationship. Remember, we're looking at kill, steal, destroy. So they need to steal from you, they need to destroy you, and they need to kill you. Now, for those ones that discard you, by the time they get rid of you, they've literally killed you spirit, soul. Your body might still be alive, but you're like the walking dead. You'd have to go through a whole process to regain yourself, to be reborn, to become alive again, literally. If you're staying in an abusive relationship thinking this person is going to change, or they mean you well, or they love you, no, they just have one mission. If they can't have you, no one else will. You understand? So if you're with someone who is emotionally unstable, you get me? Please save yourself. If you think this thing is a joke, please just Google people who got killed in relationships. You will see the same pattern. A pattern of abuse, violence, breakups, comeback, breakups, comeback, breakups, and then one day one person gets killed. You see what I mean? So in a nutshell, from me to you, do not ignore the signs of abuse and abusive people. If you need to know more about the signs, check out my channel. It is talk number 2 dots on YouTube. I gotta go now because it is quite late. So if you got any questions, leave your questions in the comment box and I will always come back to you to answer. If you have any additional questions, you can send me an inbox. If you have a particular area that you need me to shed more light on, leave your comments, leave your questions and all that. From me to you, one love, peace, guidance and respect.